Yo, what is going on, everyone? My name is Nick, or the Notorious Fantasy, and in today's video, I'm bringing you guys Week 8 of the 2020 fantasy football season's recap. I'm going to be touching upon every single game from Sunday's slate and discuss what I thought about the game, my fantasy implications, maybe guys I'm looking to trade for, maybe guys I'm completely sold out on now, maybe guys I'm looking to go ahead and try to acquire for my fantasy team, as well as some early waiver wire talk. There will be a waiver wire video tomorrow, as well as a trade target video sometime this week. So before we get into it, I'd like to ask that if at any point inside of this video, you might want that other content that I'm going to be posting throughout the week. I post every single day, to please make sure to hit that subscribe button, because not only is it free, I put out content every single day to help you guys win that 2020 fantasy football championship. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Week 8 2020 fantasy football recap. We begin with the New England Deflatriots at the Buffalo Bills. The Patriots fall to 2-5, losing this game 21-24 to the Bills, who are at home, who now rise to 6-2. This is very, very weird to see, if I'm being honest with you. Not that the Bills beat the Patriots, right? Because that could obviously happen. But the Patriots falling to 2-5 is just such a weird picture in my head from what we've seen throughout the last 20 years or 21 years of my life now at this point. Cam Newton, 15 for 25 and 174 yards in this game, as well as 9 for 54 and 1 touchdown on the ground. At this point in the season, Cam Newton is pretty much completely and utterly irrelevant for your fantasy football team. Not that you can't roster him, but more the fact that I don't feel confident at all right now putting this man into my lineup. Not a good showing at all out of Cam Newton. Damian Harris, 16 for 102 yards and 1 touchdown. An excellent game out of Harris. Just appears that he's clearly the alpha running back on this team. James White, 2 carries for 0 yards, as well as 2 for 35 in the receiving game. James White seems to be a complete and utter dud as of right now for this season. He just does not look like he gets enough work to be worthy of a guy you want to even be starting in your lineup on a weekly basis. With Edelman out, it doesn't seem like you're going to be wanting to start any of these wide receivers on a weekly basis. Jacoby Myers, 6 for 58. Damian Byrd, 3 for 39. James White, again, 2 for 35. Ryan Izzo, 2 for 24. So, another one that I would feel ultra confident in, especially with how Cam Newton has been looking. Now for the Bills, Josh Allen takes another stinker right on your goddamn chest. 11 for 18, 154 yards, and 1 INT, as well as 10 for 23 and a touchdown on the ground. Just like with Cam Newton, not a good game. But besides that fact that he didn't have a good game, I actually feel confident in Josh Allen to bounce back and look better in the future, whereas right now, zero confidence, in my opinion, in Cam Newton. Devin Singletary, 14 of 86 for 0 touchdowns. Zach Moss, 14 for 81 and 2 touchdowns. This is the problem with the fucking Buffalo Bills. One week it'll be Singletary, one week it'll be Moss, and a majority of the time it's going to be neither of them that are worthy of starting in fantasy football. It's pretty much whichever guy ends up walking his way, moseying his way on into the fucking end zone. So you're going to feel really stupid starting Singletary a majority of the time, really stupid starting Moss a majority of the time. So pretty much to me, they're both completely irrelevant for fantasy football unless you're just chasing that touchdown upside. For the Buffalo Bills, Stephon Diggs, 6 for 92 on 9 targets. Even when Diggs isn't scoring, this guy is still putting up big points for fantasy football, considering how much he is being used in that offense, whether they're winning or they are losing. Cole Beasley, 2 for 24, a very disappointing game after looking very, very good for the last couple of weeks. As a whole, the Patriots are fucking deceased. They're dead. The Buffalo Bills very much still alive, but not looking great for Josh Allen as of recently, but I do expect him to bounce back. Next game here, we got my favorite game of the week, and that is because my quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa, played his first ever NFL start this week. Amazing, beautiful, magnifique, whatever you would like to call it. Tua did not play that great, though, if I'm being completely honest with you. Not that he played bad, but he didn't, step up and fucking jam his cock down the Rams' throat, but he did not even have to in this one. The Dolphins win 28-17. Rams fall to 5-3. Dolphins advance to 4-3 in this one. Tua Tagovailoa, 12 of 22 for 93 yards and 1 touchdown. His real only mistake was the first play of the game where the motherfucker drops back. He's lefty, so it goes like this, and then Aaron Donald say yeet and smack the ball right out of his hand, and he fumbled. But besides that, I guess my assessment earlier on Tua is kind of wrong. I feel like Tua is good. I think he's good. I think he's great. We just didn't see anything in this game. We saw his touchdown pass that looked beautiful. He threw a dart into coverage that looked like impossible for him to fit it in. He fits it in there. He made some errors in throwing the ball. He made multiple passes that could have been interceptions. But at the end of the day, he didn't have to do anything in this game. We didn't get to see what Tua can do because he was never at a point in this game where he was down and it looked like they were out of this game. The Miami Dolphins scored 21 fucking points in the second quarter. Didn't score again in the third or the fourth quarter because they were just protecting the lead, running the ball, and doing everything they could to make sure they would win the fucking football game, and that's what happened. Do I feel like Tua is now bad for fantasy football? No. I feel like a couple weeks from now, you may want to fire him up. Next week up against the Arizona Cardinals, I think Tua has a good matchup. Would I be comfortable starting him? Probably not, but do I think he could have a good game? Yes. Myles Gaskin, that bitch Carol Gaskin, 18 for 47 and 1 rushing touchdown for Mr. Gaskin, as well as 3 for 16 in the rushing game, so a pretty solid game out of Mr. Gaskin. Durham Smythe, 2 for 16. Preston Williams, 2 for 15. Devontae Parker, 1 for 3 and a touchdown. So Parker didn't have a bad day. Didn't have a good day, though. So that's kind of how I felt about the Dolphins coming in, though, is exactly what happened. I didn't know who the fuck to start for the Dolphins. I said, you're risking it playing Gesicki, 1 for 8. You're risking it playing Parker, 1 for 3 and a touchdown. You're risking it playing Williams, 2 for 15 and no touchdowns. From this, the guy getting the most targets was Preston Williams, so right now, going forward, I would be most confident in him. But until we see him really play in a game where he's throwing the ball like more than 22 times, where he has to throw it like 30, 40 times, until then, we're not really going to know who Tua really likes to throw the ball to. As of right now, my best guess is Preston Williams, but again, that could change as the weeks go on. Jared Goff looked like absolute dog shit in this one. 35 for 61, 355 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 INTs. Why did he look so bad? It might be because Brian Flores coached a genius game against him when he was the Patriots defensive assistant a few years ago when they won the Super Bowl. Because he knows the Rams, he figured them out. Jared Goff looked like shit. Darrell Henderson, 8 for 47. Malcolm Brown, 10 for 40. Cam Akers, 9 for 35. Bobby Trees, 2 for 9 and a tutty in the rushing game. Cooper Kupp had a game, 11 for 110, as did Robert Woods, 7 for 85 and a touchdown. So 2 total tuggies on the game for Robert Woods. So even if the Rams are out of the game, you could still feel very confident in starting Kupp and Woods. Goff is just a complete and utter fucking coin flip on a weekly basis if he's going to end up producing or not. Some games, this guy looks like Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, one of the greater quarterbacks in the league. And then the next week, this guy looks like Mitch Trubisky, looks like he can't even fucking see, doing his best Stevie Wonder impression in the pocket. So I really have no idea how to feel about Jared Goff on a weekly basis because it's a complete and utter guess. But go Dolphins. We ate that W like our name was famous Jameis Winston. And by God, did I shit myself when Brian Flores decided to give the ball to Tua to run the ball. That's not how he got hurt, but I am a bit nervous when I see that, if I'm being honest with you, as a Dolphins fan, seeing our future take and try to run forward. So, next game here. The Pittsburgh Steelers defeat 28-24 the Ravens. The Steelers 7-0, the only undefeated team in the league. The Baltimore Ravens fall to 5-2. Another case here of Lamar not playing good in a big game. 13 of 28 for 208 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 INTs. The weather was not even a mere factor in this one. The game that was the factor of the weather that we're going to be talking about later was the Las Vegas Raiders versus the Cleveland Browns. That shit, it was raining, it was hailing, it was snowing, it was windy. It was so weird. That was the weirdest weather I've ever seen for a football game. Literally, Carlson, the kicker of the Raiders, kicks the ball. This thing looks like it's perfecto, magnifique, and the thing says, skirt, and just curves all the way to the left like someone's cock. And it was crazy. It didn't go in. It was the weirdest thing I've ever seen. But with that said, Steelers 28, Ravens 24. Excellent game out of who? Really, no one. No one really put up a great game in this game. Juju Smith-Schuster, 7 for 67 on 8 targets. Eric Ebron, 4 for 48 and 1 touchdown. Claypool, 5 for 42 and 1 touchdown. James Conner, 3 for 13. In the receiving game, Deontay Johnson, 1 for 6. He's the news of the game. How does he get hurt again? This is going to be the most frustrating thing every week. The guy comes in, he has so much promise. He gets the most targets on the team. He does all of the things. He has all the skill. He just can't stay healthy. What do you do with Deontay Johnson? You hold him. But I don't feel comfortable playing him if he plays in their next game. Big Ben Roethlisberger, 21 of 32 for 2 touchdowns in this one. James Conner, 5 for 47 and a touchdown. So James Conner had a pretty solid game this week. For the Baltimore Ravens run game, it was a smorgasbord of running backs. J.K. Dobbins, 15 of 113 and 0 touchdowns in this one. Gus Bus Edwards, 16 of 87 and a touchdown. Lamar Jackson, 16 for 65 and no touchdowns. Again, Lamar Jackson running the ball. Didn't do anything in the passing game. Well, he did do something because he threw 2 touchdowns. He just disappointed as a whole. Lamar Jackson, I'm not saying he's dead for fantasy purposes, but what the actual fuck, man. This guy is taking a strong decline straight into a big dirt nap going 6 feet fucking under. Which running back do you start next week? I have no idea. No idea. If Mark Ingram plays, I'm probably going to play no one. If he doesn't play, I'm probably playing Dobbins, but Edwards was the one with the touchdown. So it's very iffy on a weekly basis. Edwards 0 for 0 on the receiving game, and then J.K. Dobbins 1 for 8. So a good game out of both of those running backs, though. Definitely both very productive in this system, especially when Lamar Jackson looks like a fucking clown trying to throw the ball. Willie Snead, 5 for 106 in this one. Mark Andrews, 3 for 23 for 32. And then the funniest thing was Hollywood Brown, 1 for 3 on 2 targets and a touchdown. Hollywood Brown threw a hissy fit on Twitter, and I completely agree with him. He's like, why you got the Lamborghini? That's not what he said. He has like his own nickname for himself, which I don't remember. He's like, why do you got the Lamborghini? Say that's his nickname. Why you got Hollywood, but you're not fucking using him? Why do you have me, a guy who's fast as fuck, and you don't throw the ball to me? Why do you have a guy who's always open and you don't throw the ball to me? Why do you have me and not fucking use me? I'm pissed off. And I honestly thought that he was going to get, like, traded or something. Like, he was sounding so pissed off. He was doing his best Antonio Brown impression, his cousin. So I thought that was pretty funny, but nothing came out of that, obviously. But very sad for Hollywood Brown just not getting targeted at all in this game. Very, very bad. Next game here, we got the Tennessee Titans at the Cincinnati Bengals, and the Cincinnati Bengals absolutely derailed the Tennessee Titans 31-20. Titans 5-2. And the Cincinnati Bengals, 2-5-1. Gotta love the games where they end up fucking tying. Ryan Tannehill, 18 of 30 for 233, 2 touchdowns, and 1 INT. Nothing special out of Tannehill. Nothing bad out of Tannehill. I don't blame him at all. If I'm being honest with you, if you're a Titans fan, you have to point the finger right at the fucking defense, because this defense of the Titans got their shit slammed in. They were taking back shots like their name was Remy LaCroix all games long. Joe Burrow, Big Dick Joe, 26 of 37 for 249 yards and 2 touchdowns, as well as 3 for 9 on the ground. Mixon missed this game, so Giovanni Bernard had to play 15 of 62 and 1 touchdown in this one. Samaje P. Ryan vultured him, 10 for 32 and 1 touchdown. Tyler, yeah, Boyd, 2 for 9 in the rushing game for the receivers. This was a good game out of all of them, except for A.J. Green, which you kind of had to see coming. This was a good matchup for all 3 guys, and when you typically feel confident on all 3, normally only 2 end up producing, just like in the game we talked about before. Deontay Johnson didn't produce, but the other 2 guys did. Same scenario here. A.J. Green was the guy I liked the least, and he's the guy who produced the least. He was on fire, actually playing pretty well the last couple of games, and now he's back down to A.J. Green status. 2 for 9 in this one. Titty Boy T. Higgins, 6 for 78. Tyler, yeah, Boyd, 6 for 67 and 1 total tuggy in this one. For the rushing game for the Tennessee Titans, Derrick Henry, 18 of 112 and 1 touchdown. What do you expect? Derrick Henry is simply built different. Going to get over 100 yards every single goddamn game. Corey Davis, very involved in this one. 8 for 128 and 1 touchdown. Big game out of Corey Davis. What a complete and utter turnaround of a man's career. The first beginning of this man's season, he was drafted. He had so much hype. He's drafted inside the top 10, and then he's just on his knees, sucking some fucking hog. He doesn't do anything. He plays terrible. And then this year was the redemption arc for Corey Davis, and he's pretty much startable on a weekly basis. Janu Smith, 2 for 29, a down game again. A.J. Brown, 4 for 24, and a touchdown. The touchdown really saved the day. A.J. Brown was still targeted 7 times. Had they not been down 1 million by the Bengals, I honestly think that A.J. Brown would have looked much better in this game. I'm definitely not sold off of A.J. Brown, though. Gotta love Big Dick Joe Burrow in this one. Next game here, we got the Las Vegas Raiders in the absolutely messed up game up against the Cleveland Browns. Raiders 16-6. The Browns fall to 5-3. The Raiders advance to 4-3, 3-1 away. Crazy weather, like I said. This one was just a shit show because they couldn't really throw the ball. 15 of 24 for Mr. Derek Carr, 112 yards and 1 total tuggy. Baker Mayfield, 12 of 25 for 122 yards, so they really didn't air the ball out. A combined 49 passing attempts in this one. It did cool down for a little bit, and then it came back again. Just a very, very, very weird game. Josh Jacobs, 31 of 28, 0 touchdowns. Very, 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 very fed in this one. The guy was looking like Ezekiel fucking Elliott, how much he was eating. Josh Jacobs did very good in fantasy football. This was the bounce back week that we thought he would have. And he finally had it again. Amazing out of Josh Jacobs. Very, very happy that he was able to bounce back after looking like dog doo-doo the last couple of games. Derek Carr, 6 of 41. In the rushing game, Darren Waller, 5 of 28 and no touchdowns. Hunter Renfrow, 4 for 26 and 1 total tuggy in this game. For the Cleveland Browns, they didn't score a single touchdown. It was all just kicking the ball. Kareem Hunt, 14 of 66. Jarvis Landry, 4 for 52. Rashad Higgins, 1 for 14. Doesn't seem like you should be sold out on him, though. Has one bad game because it's fucking raining. It's sleeting. It's windy. So don't be bought out on any of these other wide receivers there. Jarvis had an all-right game. 11 targets, though. Definitely should have came down with more. But again, the ball was fucking wiggling. It was wobbling through the goddamn air. So I don't really have any takeaways from this game. To me, this doesn't tell me the Raiders are amazing. Doesn't tell me the Browns are bad. It was just a very, very, very weird game, in my opinion, due to the weather. Next game here, we got the New York Football Jets at the Kansas City Chiefs. Real quick, I'd like to give you guys a quick word from my friends and my sponsor over at Drafters.com. Drafters.com offers a variety of fantasy football games that you can join, but my favorite one to do on Monday night is the Rank'em. This week's Monday Night Football game tonight is the Buccaneers versus the New York Football Giants, and the best game here is the Rank'em. Pretty much all you have to do, you can see 1 through 10 on here and 2 reserves. The reserves are only for if the player ends up missing the game, obviously, so you can't change it out, or you forget to change it out, and it moves it in there. You can change it out all the way up until kickoff. Pretty much all you have to do is order them and who scores the most fantasy points, 1 all the way through 10. So say you think Brady's going to have an excellent night, you put him at number 1, and then second, you're like, you know what, I think Gronk's going to have an amazing game, and you put him at number 2. There's also a draft game, pretty much, which is like how you draft your fantasy football season, but it's just for 1 week only. You can check that out. Use code Notorious at checkout for a 50% deposit bonus up to $100 with a 10 times rollover on the bonus withdrawal. Check it out, drafters.com. 35-9, the New York Football Jets fall to 0-8. The Chiefs, 7-1. They win 35-9. This was a absolute gobsmacking of the Jets. The Jets stood no chance in this matchup. At some points, you almost want to feel bad for Sam Darnold. And I do. Even as a Dolphins fan who hates the Jets, you got to feel bad for Darnold because the man stands no chance. Unless he gets moved to another team, his career is probably over. They're going to draft Trevor Lawrence. Adam Gase sucks cock at being a head coach. 18 of 30 for 133 for Mr. Darnold. Old man Frank Gore, 10 for 30. LaMichael Pirine, 8 for 27. Denzel Mims, 2 for 42 in the receiving game. Braxton Berrios, 8 for 34. Jeff Smith, 3 for 29. Nothing to talk about for the Jets offense. For the offense of the Chiefs, it was quite the good one. Pat Mahomes threw the ball. Chad Henne threw the ball. Tommy Townsend threw the ball. Is that the punter? I think so, because it is. Because if you guys were watching Red Zone, they were not even smacking up the Jets, right? The game's like just begun. It's like 4th and 7. They do a fake punting. They convert on it early in the game. It was so disrespectful, but it was absolutely hilarious. Pat Mahomes, 31 of 42 for 5 touchdowns for 416 yards. Pat Mahomes threw more touchdowns in that game than the Jets have scored passing all season. What a stat. What a stat. That tells you how bad the Jets are and also tells you how great of a fucking player Patrick Mahomes is. Mahomes threw the ball all around the yard. Travis Kelce, 8 for 109 and a tutty. Tyreek Hill, 4 for 98 and 2 tutties. McCole Hardman, 7 of 96 and 1 tutty. DeMarcus Robinson, 4 for 63 and 1 tutty. Can you trust McCole Hardman? No. I don't trust him. I saw him involved in this one. I still don't trust him. I have 0 trust in McCole Hardman. You throw him in your lineup, and this guy either fucking anals your opponent. Deep dicks him. Or it's a reversal. 619 Rey Mysterio, and it comes back your way and kicks you right in the dick. Because he's either really good or really bad, and there's no in-between. Le'Veon Bell in the revenge game just was not involved. For some reason, they continued to just rail the New York Football Jets. Instead of what I thought was going to happen where they just start running it in the second half, they just fucking put the pedal to the goddamn metal and bitch-slapped the Jets multiple times. 6 for 21 in the game for CEH. Le'Veon Bell, 6 for 7. CEH, 3 for 10 in the receiving game. Le'Veon Bell, 3 for 31. So a stinker out of all of the Chiefs running backs. But a very good game by the Chiefs wide receiver core, as well as big man Patty Mahomes. Next game here, we got the Detroit Lions up against the Indianapolis Colts at home in Detroit. The Detroit Lions fall to 3-4. The Indianapolis Colts advance to 5-2. Colts 41, Lions 21. Phillip Rivers and friends in Indianapolis win 41-21. Phillip Rivers, 23 of 33 for 262, 3 tutties. In this one, I mean, Rivers, I have no idea how to understand if you want to play Rivers in fantasy or not. Some games, this guy plays hero, plays great. Other games, this guy plays fucking Atlanta Falcons player, and he just completely chokes. So I have no idea what to think about Rivers. Matty Snapback, 24 of 42 for 336, 3 touchdowns, and 1 INT. I feel bad for Stafford. This guy, his whole career just getting pounded, losing all these games, and he is trying his heart out, playing very well on a weekly basis. So, feels bad for Matthew Stafford, but he's definitely still worthy of starting in fantasy football. Very sad also for Kenny Bones, 4 targets, gets out in this game, now reported to enter the IR on a week-to-week designation, which could mean more than 3 weeks. Sheesh, as they would say. I am very sad about that. Marvin Hall, 4 for 113. TJ Hawkinson, 7 for 65. Hawkinson was sucking ass at the beginning of the game, and then once Galladay went down, Hawkinson started getting more involved. 3 for 39 and 2 touchdowns for Marvin Jones. So maybe now you can feel confident starting Marvin Jones because he's been very, very good the last couple of weeks. I would like to ask you guys a question. Do you know if Jonathan Taylor retired? Has anyone seen him? He was missing this whole game. Jordan Wilkins, 20 for 89 in the rushing game and 1 touchdown. And then, Nyheim Hines, 3 for 54 and 2 touchdowns and 2 fucking flips because this motherfucker scored a touchdown and did a goddamn backflip. Jonathan Taylor, 11 for 22. Now, the reports are that he was hurt in the game, banged up. So, if you own Jonathan Taylor, don't fucking run away. Don't do a Hussein and Bolt impression and fucking bolt it away. Don't be scared. He's going to be fine, and hopefully next week. Very sad, though, obviously, if you started him because he really dicked you down deep this week. Zach Pascal, 3 for 44. T.Y. Hilton got hurt, I believe, as well, 2 for 9. I mean, he was hurting your team regardless. You shouldn't even have had him on your team. Fucking irrelevant player. I hate T.Y. Hilton because of the amount of hype that this guy always garners, and he always has fucking sucked as of recently. So that's my assessment of this game. Next game here, we got the Green Bay Packers up against the Minnesota Vikings, and the Vikings actually won 28-22. The Packers fall to 5-2. The Minnesota Vikings go up to 2-5. The Vikings are going to casually win too many games to be able to get Trey Lance or one of those quarterbacks that's coming out of the draft that they actually would want. Kirk Cousins, you like that. 11 for 14, 160 yards and 1 touchdown. The player of the week, Dalvin Cook, took the Packers and were railing them relentlessly without the use of any lube. Dalvin Cook, 30 for 163 and 3 fucking touchdowns. Not 1, not 2, but 3 touchdowns. And you're like, Nick, 3 touchdowns, that's great. How is he the best player ever? 2 for 63 and a touchdown in the receiving game. This guy fucked the Packers with a capital F-U-C-K-E-D. Destruction. It was beautiful. I don't own Dalvin Cook. I don't have him on my fantasy teams, but it was beautiful to watch. Adam Thielen, 3 for 27. Jefferson, 3 for 26. They just ran the ball a million times. Don't be concerned with either of those wide receivers. They will have big bounce back rest of the season. Aaron Rodgers, 27 of 41 for 3 touchdowns, no INTs, 291 yards. Nothing really that Rodgers didn't really play bad in this one. Bad call late in the game. Clearly pass interference. They don't call it. There were a lot of bad calls in this game. And I'm not a Packers fan. I'm a Dolphins fan, so I'm not just saying that. That's just what I saw with my own eyes. Jamal Williams with 2A is 16 of 75 for 0 total tuggies. Robert Tonyan, 5 for 79. No touchdowns. Devontae Adams stuck his cock 12 inches down the Minnesota Vikings' throat. 7 for 53 and 3 touchdowns. Devontae Adams is built different. He is one of the best wide receivers in the NFL, if not the best, in my opinion. Jay Sternberger, 3 for 46. What this told me, Devontae Adams is very good. Robert Tonyan, very good. Jamal Williams, very good. But hopefully we get Mr. Aaron Jones back. And A.J. Dillon got corona. Multiple players got corona. Someone got corona on Baltimore. A.J. Dillon got it on the Packers. So that's something to monitor, obviously, as the weeks go on, or as the rest of the week goes on, because that will affect this weekend's game. Next game here, we got the Denver Broncos versus the LA Chargers, and this is the matchup I was actually waiting for, because we have another case of Justin Herbert choking. Just kidding. It's not Justin Herbert's fault. He threw 2 picks, kind of his fault, but not the whole game is not his fault. The defense sucks. Really bad. Just not doing anything in this one. Horsecock Drew Lock, 26 of 41 for 248 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 INT. Justin Herbert, 29 of 43 for 278 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. They have choked 17-point leads, the Chargers, that is, 3 times this season. Actually, 3 or 4 times this season, and the total number is 5 this season. Embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. Justin Jackson, 17 for 89 for the Chargers, and no touchdowns. Troy Maine Pope. No idea who that guy was, to be honest with you. 10 for 67. Looked good. Joshua Kelly not involved, really. 7 for 32. Very fucking disappointing there. But what do you expect? You can't really start any of these guys. I guess maybe Jackson, but then next week it'll be Pope or someone fucking else. So it's just a shit show in Los Angeles, Mike Williams does it again. This motherfucker is so inconsistent. He's so random. You don't even want to play him. 1 week, he fucking destroys the defense. He grabs him chokehold style and slams him into the ground repeatedly. Then the next week, he does that to you. He grabs you through the screen and just tangles your nuts up. I don't know. I don't know what to do with Mike Williams. I like him, though. 5 for 99 and 1 total tuggy in this one. Keenan Allen, 9 for 67. 2 yards off of being very nice with 9 for 69, but it was 67 and 1 total tuggy in this game. Justin Jackson, 3 for 53. So pretty solid game out of Justin Jackson, actually, but I still don't know if I feel confident starting him. In a revenge game for Melvin Gordon, the only revenge you want is for your fantasy team for fucking starting him because he sucked ass. 8 for 26, no touchdowns. Phillip Lindsay, clearly the better running back, 6 for 83 and a touchdown. But when Gordon's healthy, you can't start Lindsay. So it's just a real suck-ass situation here. In Denver, Bayshawn Hamilton, 4 for 82 and 1 touchdown. Judy, 4 for 73. No touchdowns. KJ Hamler, 3 for 13 and 1 touchdown. Albert O, 1 for 9 and 1 touchdown. Noah Fant, 7 for 47 in this game. So a pretty solid game out of the Broncos offense in this one. And yet again, another choke out of Justin Herbert and friends. But don't worry about Herbert. He will be A-okay. I don't think you will ever want to start Drew Lock, though. In this one, we saw a curious case of Nick Foles choking late in the game, but the Saints choked to let it get to overtime, and then 9-inch Nick Foles ultimately does not win the game. There's also the game where we saw Monday Night fucking SmackDown, Monday Night Raw, where some guy just on the Bears, just absolutely not beat the shit out, but he hit him with the 1-2 fucking Mayweather. 1-2. 1-2, straight to the fucking dome to some guy on the Saints. It was absolutely hilarious. Drew Brees, 31 of 41 for 280 yards and 2 total tuggies. 9-inch Nicholas Foles, 28 of 41 for 272, 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. Very curious to see that a lot of people are calling for Mitch to start again. Do you really think Mitch Trubisky would have won this game? Because I don't. Let me know down below in the comments. Alvin Kamara, 12 for 67, as well as 9 for 96. In the receiving game, this guy's just fucking built different. He's amazing. David Montgomery, 21 of 89. Look at that. They actually use him correctly, and he does good. 2 for 16. No touchdowns, though, in this one. Allen Robinson, 6 for 87 and 1 touchdown. Darnell Mooney. Here comes the Mooney. 5 for 69. Very nice. I like you. Woobity wobbity. I don't even know what he says before. He says something really fucking weird. He goes, and then he goes, Ashamai, and then he goes, great success. 1 touchdown for Darrell. Here comes the Monet. Alvin Kamara, again, dominated in this one. Jared Cook, 5 for 51 and a touchdown. Great start there. Will Michael Thomas come back is probably the narrative from this one. Saints, 5-2. Big Dick Nick and friends, 5-3. Does Michael Thomas return next week? Does he get traded tomorrow? Does he get traded today? Who knows? Who really knows? I'm excited to see what happens there. Overall, nothing too big out of these games to talk about. Next one here, we got the San Francisco 49ers up against the Seattle Seahawks. Huge news out of this one. Jimmy Garoppolo exits the game injured. Okay. Not coming back for multiple weeks. George Kittle out for the season, it appears. I guess unless they made the playoffs, but 9-inch Nick Mullins is probably not going to make them go there. Jimmy G, 11 for 16, 84 yards and 1 interception was awful. 18 of 25 for 2 touchdowns for Nick Mullins, 238 yards. JaMychal Hasty, 12 for 29 and 1 touchdown. Jerick McKinnon, 4 for 40 in the receiving game. So I guess Hasty was the guy to start this week. But not going to feel super confident in any of these guys without Jimmy Garoppolo. The receiving game, Brandon Ayuk played well. Called that one, 8 for 91 and a touchdown. Great game out of him. George Kittle, me Timbers, 2 for 39 in his final game, likely of the season. For the Seattle Seahawks in their win, Russell Wilson, 27 of 37 for 4 total tuggies and 261 yards. DJ Dallas, fist bump for motherfucking DJ Dallas, baby. DJ Paulie D, 18 for 41 and 1 total tuggy. DK Metcalf took the 49ers and said, you are my bitch, you are my son. And he eviscerated them. 15 targets, 12 receptions, 161 yards, and 2 total touchdowns, and a whole lot of sprinkling of tears from the San Francisco 49ers fans. Tyler Lockett, 4 for 33 on 5 targets. Metcalf was the guy I liked better this week. He played better. Lockett's fine, though. Don't fucking pivot off of Lockett. Don't be nervous. David Moore, 3 for 18 and 1 touchdown. DJ Dallas with 2 tuggies in this game, 5 for 17 and 1 touchdown in the receiving game. If Carson misses again, if Hyde misses again, DJ Dallas looks like a very, very, very good ad, and I'm happy I told you guys to pick him up. Final game of the week, A game that I'm going to spend about 7 total seconds talking about, the Dallas Cowboys and Gucci Danucci versus the Philadelphia Eagles. The Dallas Cowboys fall to 2-6. They lose 9-23 in this one to the 3-4-1 Philadelphia Eagles. Carson Wentz looked like absolute dog shit. 15 for 27, 123 yards. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3, ABC. 2 touchdowns and 2 INTs. Terrible. He could have had 5 touchdowns in this game, but instead he throws 2 picks. Boston Scott shit the bed low-key. 15 for 70, no touchdown in this one. 2 for 9 in the receiving game. For Jalen Reagor, 3 of 16 and 1 touchdown. Travis Fulgham, the GOAT, 6 for 71 and 1 touchdown. Dallas Goedert, 1 for 15. I expect Goedert to be involved, and I love that Travis Fulgham is still eating. For the Cowboys, Ben DiNucci, everyone's favorite Italiano quarterback, 21 of 40 for 180. 0 touchdowns, 0 INTs. Ezekiel Elliott fucking sucks. Not that he sucks, the line sucks, so you can't trust him. 1 for 10 in the receiving game. I mean, you got to start Zeke, but I don't trust him anymore. Ben DiNucci, 5 for 22 in the rushing game. Tony Pollard, 7 for 40. Michael Gallup, 7 for 61. CeeDee Lamb, 4 of 27. Amari Cooper shits the bed, 1 and 5. I don't know what to do with the Cowboys players, right? Because they're not worth anything. The only guy worth something is probably Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb. Zeke might be worth something as well. I don't know what to think. The offensive line's a turnstile. The team sucks. Just a sad situation without Dakota Prescott. So, let me know down below what you guys thought of week number 8. Also, let me know down below who you think's winning tonight, the Giants or the Bucks. It's probably going to be the Bucks. Have a great rest of your guys' day. Check out drafters.com, code Notorious at checkout. I love you all, and I'll see you beautiful bastards tomorrow with the waiver wire video in the morning. I love you all, as always. Stay safe. Good boy.